All right. Welcome to the Time to Grow Up podcast. Before I continue, this is actually a re-record because I recorded this entire episode and realized I didn't actually click the record button, which means I have to go through the entire waterworks again. If done right, this podcast is scheduled to release on, I think, the week of my birthday, I believe. And the title, or I guess the topic of choice, which I have written down on my phone, 10 things before you're both full, kids, I think you would want to know. So this is a second go at it, which means more tears are going to flow. Hopefully, dear listener, you might find this a bit insightful, particularly if you're going to be a new parent or maybe you're a parent. Anyway, let's go with it. Let's get on with it, shall we? First thing, you need to be reminded more than you to be taught. And I pay respect to Claire, who does this really well. Toilet training is something that you'll hear a lot of parents talk about. And one of the most important things when it comes to that is reminding kids to go. The respect I have for your mom, boys, is when Henry was going through this phase, she had to look after Marcus while reminding you to go to the toilet. As a broader statement, most humans, most of us, even as adults, we don't need a lot of information. We do need some information, of course, but remind us to consistently do the thing, to keep doing the thing, even if we failed. It's the most important thing. Things like blow your nose or wash your hands or stuff like that. Like, we can't tell you washing your hands is important because there's germs on your hands. We can't tell you why it's important to wipe your butt after you go to the potty. We can't tell you jumping off a couch is going to hurt yourself. We just have to keep reminding you. And this is definitely something I was very naive of when I was not a parent. I thought I could educate you. I thought I could reason with you. I thought I can give you information in a succinct enough manner for you to understand it. And the truth is, before you're 4, you don't need that. You just need reminders. And it's a good reminder for myself to tell clients and you, dear listener, we don't need more information. We just need constant reminders. And funny enough, you'll start to learn through those reminders. Number 2. Before you fall, know that your parents, you and I, me and Claire, love you. And even when we're tired, just know we are doing our best. For those who don't know, dear listener, and maybe you both don't even know this, we decided to undertake this whole parenting journey on what RPG players would call hardcore mode on the ultimate difficulty setting. Full-time, minimal help, to no help actually, to do this whole parenting thing. Some might look at this and go, oh, you're just being egotistical. You should just need to go and get help, and that's for another topic. The point being, we both decided this. So dear listener, who are you to tell us that this is not the way to do it? We wanted it. But as you can realize, we get tired. And sometimes our parenting styles, the things that we say, the things that we do, the actions that we take might not always seem like the loving parent that we normally are. And I just want you both, kids, to understand, it's not because we're angry. We're just tired. And that phase before you turn 4, especially when you've got 2 under 4 or 2 under 3 in this case, when of this recording, it's extremely sleep deprived, tired, emotionally drained, very difficult time. Third one. Time doesn't feel linear, but it takes exponential jumps. What I mean by that is, one day you've got one kid as a newborn, and all of a sudden you've got teeth. And then all of a sudden you've got a brother. And all of a sudden you start to have opinions and your brother starts to crawl. You start calling him Marcus. He starts calling you something. Not there yet. You start playing together. A lot of these moments, we can't capture it using technology. These are moments, to my earlier point, why we chose to do parenting on hardcore mode. We want to be there for these moments. We don't want to come pick you up from daycare, having the teacher go, oh, they said mama, or they stood up. We want to be there for every single moment, and this is why time doesn't feel very linear, because these moments just make time jump so exponentially. It's crazy. We don't know everything. In fact, we're just making guesses that seem right. Your parents don't know everything. And I think the quicker you realize that, the better it is. And that's also something I want you both to understand. Like, of course, I want you to think that your parents is the source of support. But I don't want you to think your parents are the source of information. Growing up, maybe not so much me, but we always hear this a lot. I thought my parents know everything until one day I realized they don't. I want that moment to be a lot earlier for you both. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's just because I want you to go out, explore. We make a lot of mistakes, especially before you are 4. We definitely have already made a bunch of mistakes. Hopefully, none too traumatic. But I guess the point being is that we don't know everything. We're just guessing. We've made some good guesses. We've made some pretty bad guesses. We can't turn back the clock. I certainly know I can't. When you, Henry, cut open your lip at the corner of the table, could I have done anything different in that moment? Absolutely. But my guess was wrong, and that was one of those things I've got to live with, right? The next one. Time away from you isn't because we don't love you, but it's a way for us to not parent, because it will be inefficient to keep doing the parenting. We decided to do this on hardcore mode, which means the fatigue, like I said at the start, the tiredness sets in. Sometimes we just need to take a step away. Now I'm glad, somewhat, that I have the opportunity to step away and do these things. But I can tell you, like, the only reason why sometimes I look for these opportunities is because I know that when I get back to you both, I can parent very efficiently. Now, your mum, on the other hand, takes the brunt of the beating. Because she decided to do it full time, all hats off to her, respect her, mad respect. It's hard. And I think she's starting to realize that, like, time away from you both just makes her a bit of a better parent. Contradicting to what I would have said before, with a lot of parents would go back to work after 6 or 12 months, and sometimes they do become a better parent. But because we chose to do this on a hardcore, I think those times away makes us so much better when we come back to see you both. It's not a lot, but just understand that time away from you both just helps us to mentally reset a little bit, and so that we can come back to you a much better version of ourselves. They say we mold children into who we think they'd become. I'd say you both mold us, or at least me, into what I've always wanted to be. I don't always know what I wanted to be. There's something deep in me. But I think after having you both, there's this sense of drive to be a bit different, to change the way I think, to change the way I speak, change the friends I mix with. Don't have many, but I digress. They say that parents mold their kids into a successful human being. No one really says young kids, especially kids under 4, mold their parents into who they really are. Parenting is something that gets thrown at you. And those people who say, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to change my mindset on this, I want to do all these things, I want to be a better person. Guess what? The moment you have children, all of that can start to happen. Even though if you are extremely time limited, the way that you think about things is just a bit different. I can't remember who said this, but some really rich people have something that they call fuck you money, where you could just like pay your problems away with having money. Guess what? Being a parent just means fuck you, I'm a parent. And I can tell you this, all parents will know this. You will do everything in your power to make your child's life just a little bit better. And I feel that is so much more power than the fuck you money bit. It just changes the game completely. And I think that's why you both mold me personally into who I really am. This one's the one that always gets me in the feels. And this is to no fault of my parents. I'm jealous. This is the next point. Before you turn 4, I want you to know that I'm jealous of what you both have, being brothers. I'm actually jealous of Claire having sisters. Your mum. I never had a brother. I never had a sister. It's not my parents' fault. It's someone's fault. It's just the way it is. But I'm jealous because I never get to experience that relationship. I never get to experience the joy. You know, I know At some point, you might hate each other. You might hate each other, which you already do. But there's a bond. I can't really describe it. It's not the same as having a best friend of brothers for life, whatever it might be. This is a literal brothers for life. And there's just something about it that I can't feel. And I'm jealous because I can't feel it. But on the flip side, I'm so happy that I can provide that for the both of you. And hopefully as you grow old, you keep that bond strong. Because as you know, someday your parents are not going to be here. And as your grandma, my mum would say, at least you've got someone to lean on. When we parents, or in my case, your grandparents, my parents, are not here anymore. Number 7. Number 7? Number 8. Number 8. My only wish is I made more money earlier. In life, hustled a lot harder, work a lot harder, spent a lot more sleepless nights. To be able to spend more time with you. We decided to, again, take this whole parenting thing hardcore. I'm very happy that I'm able to spend a lot of my time working from home and grateful for the opportunities. But one of the things that keeps me up a lot is that I have to constantly, in the back of my head, think about putting food on the table and financial stuff. If only I had worked a lot harder when I was younger. If only I took my youth seriously and really ran with it. I probably wouldn't be in a position where I'm in, where I'm stressed to try to provide. Which means I would be able to spend a lot more time with you. Because statistically speaking, and this is why we decided to undertake the hardcore mode, so to speak, no daycare, no whatever, full time. Of course, with kindy. Even kindy is a good example. There's a statistic where most of the time a parent would spend with their child, like in terms of duration, time spent, it's going to be very, very early on in their years. But that graph quickly dips down very, very quickly. Because as you grow older, you start to have friends. You spend more time outside of the house. You go to school. You go to after-school curriculars. There's not going to be a lot of time. All the parents I speak to tell me one thing. I just wish I could have spent more time with them when they're young. You're not 4 yet. And even then, I already feel that I want to spend more time. Yes, I did say earlier in the list where sometimes I need to take my time away to reset my mind and whatever it might be. Well, I'm tired. It doesn't take away the fact that I just wish I didn't have to do those things. Because I do think, personally, those things make me really, really tired. Claire might beg to differ, your mum might beg to differ, but I think, like, we can probably both agree, like, we know at some point we cannot spend a lot of time with you anymore. And that's the one thing I regret. It's not something I can change. But it's something I'm actively working on. And hopefully I can put us in a better position to just spend a little bit more time when you're a little bit older, just before you start to have friends. And let's face it, you don't really want to spend time with your dad. Number 9, I'm glad I prioritized my health earlier to bank up reserves for when the time to do so diminishes, even if it's just for a few years. Sleep deprivation before you're 4 is insane, especially when you have 2 kids. Parents will know this. And I hate a lot of the fact that a lot of fitness influencers who become parents would say, oh, you should prioritize your health Find time in your day to prioritize your health. Look, these fitness influencers and coaches are already people who have already done the whole fitness thing. They have kids. It's still a habitual thing and they still do the thing. Like, I'm part of the system. I'm somewhat almost part of the problem because I have spent a lot of my time before doing the fitness thing, and then I have kids. The habit stuck. I'm grateful for the habit stuck, and that's why I guess this is the point I'm trying to make. Like, I'm really glad I did that. Because I think if I didn't work on my own health and my own fitness, and I had both of you, we had both of you, Claire had you, I just did the thing, right? Your mum did the thing. I don't think I would be in a healthy position right now. I think I'll be in a very, very poor position. And I'm really glad that I did that. And so the message I want you to know before you fall on why sometimes I wake up super, super early to hit the gym and why sometimes I make food a certain way, it's because sometimes it's out of habit, but it's also because I want to keep on continuing, at least making sure my health is in check, just so that when you guys are a lot older, when you're a lot more active, I can keep up. A lot of that starts way before you were born. And I'm really glad I did that. Last one. You make me a better person and help me love my parents even more. And for that, I thank you both. Parental love is something that you can't really quantify. You can't really feel until you become a parent yourself. It's like the idea of this is gonna sound really, really tangential, but like, you don't really know what a certain drug feels like until you take it. You can have people tell you all of the experiences, like ayahuasca. I know this is a slight tangent, but like, if you're listening to this, and not you two, don't do ayahuasca now. Depending on what age, I guess. But they'll tell you all these great things, but until you actually experience it yourself, it's just an imagination. It's just a concept. I think the fact that I've become a parent, I appreciate and I understand parental love. I understand the sacrifices they've made, the mistakes that they've made, the way that my parents would have think when I made them disappointed, when I made them sad, when I made them happy, when I made them proud. I never knew those things. I mean, I know them. They tell me about it. I don't understand what that type of love meant until I had kids. And it also gives me the sense of I'm always still going to be a kid in my own parents' eyes, even as they grow up. We hate this as adults. Why are my parents treating me as a kid and not an adult? I think your parents, depending on what you think, treat you as an adult. It's really a front. They treat you as an adult, but really, you're still a kid in their eyes. I see this in my grandparents with my mum. The stuff that she says, the stuff that she does. I see this in my own parents. I'm sure that they tell me a lot of things and, like, we're very open with each other. I know that I'm still a kid in their eyes. And I know how difficult it is for them to sacrifice certain things, like for me to go away and move out of country and be miles away from them. To watch from afar hopelessly while I wrangle this whole 30-year-old adult life thing and not being able to help. And I thank you both for allowing me to experience what parental love really is. So that's all. That's the 10 things. It's a long one-ish. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you'll watch this at some point. If you're a listener and you got up to this point, thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to support, there's just a couple of free resources, books that I think you should be reading, a free list, some free recipes. If you really, really want to support me, I would love to help you with your health and fitness goals, even if it's just for a month or two, just to get you back on track. Shoot me an email, check out the link below if you want some coaching options. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. Hope you all have a great rest of the month. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.